Alright, every once in a while, the inspector shows up to make sure everything's in order. And, oh, it looks like he's made his way all the way down to the freshly set up Congo machine. What do you think there, dude? Everything check out? No, you're more interested in whatever that little splotch is on the ground? Okay, well, thanks for pointing that out. I will clean that up. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Welcome to episode 2 of Quicksilver. Okay, in the last episode I dropped the playfield on the floor. And in this episode, let's assess the damage. I got it very firmly clamped this time. It wasn't really the greatest job last time round. But I cranked the crap out of these clamps with the assistance of some channel locks. So that, or this playfield, should not leave the rotisserie ever again. Fingers crossed. So that is secure. We got a little bit of damage here. But look, none of the lane guides are broke. The pop bumper, thank God, they're all intact, even the screws. I mean, if any of these screws hit the floor, they would have certainly cracked the body. It doesn't look like that's the case, but it looks like I'm going to probably want to change out these old brittle bodies anyway. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well do skirts. So, yeah. First of all, Chris Hutchinson, if I'm saying that right, or Hutchins, he is known as HEP, H-E-P, high-end pins, because he does the most miraculous museum quality pinball restorations on the planet. So you should check out his YouTube channel. He just did a Quicksilver not that long ago, so I was watching some of that. But in the interim, over the last few months, if you don't already know, I've kind of coined myself as the low-end version of that, which is also known as LEP. So Chris Hutchins is HEP and Mike Dimas is LEP. So here is your episode of Quicksilver number 2. Anyway, in lepping fashion, I have decided to not spend the exorbitant amount of money and time on a new playfield and swapping that over. I am going to lep it up with this playfield here. So I'm going to restore this to the best of my ability, make it as pretty as I can, all things considered, and working as perfectly as I can get it, which is, kind of the more important thing. We want function over form. I mean, it's nice to have both, but that's how I'm going to roll. So, first thing I want to do is replace some missing lamp sockets on the underside of the playfield, or at least start on that. Let's have a look. So yeah, I'm missing 5 lamp sockets, the ground strap, and I've got all this wiring here. So I think that's going to be one of the first things I'm going to do. I'll take a photo, post it to Pinside, and see if someone can snap me a photo of their Quicksilver so that I can put that back in order. And while I wait for a photo, gotta determine what I want to do next or first. I don't know. It's officially begun, so let's lep this shit up. Oh yeah, the other thing that sustained the most damage is my clamp. But surprisingly, I don't know that we really looked at the rest of the playfield. It doesn't look like there was really any other damage from me dropping the playfield onto the ground, so that was pretty damn lucky. Okay, so I made my post on Pinside. We'll see how quickly I get a reply there. I just removed all of the crusty bulbs and threw them out, as well as my busted up clamp. I don't even really know where to start. I'm just kind of like flubbing away here, trying to figure out what's the best approach here. This post was missing a nut on the other side, so I could just pick it right up. So I added a nut. These guys are nice and tight now. And oh yeah, so I noticed that this wire guide here, right here, was popped out of the track. Fortunately, the wire guide itself is not actually broken off in there, and it's pretty rusty. So what I think I'm going to do is remove both of them. Shouldn't be too difficult. Clean them up. They're pretty bent too. See if I can straighten them out a little bit and then reinstall those. So I'll start with that. Alright, I kind of actually feel like I've started this project now. I removed both these lane guides, cleaned them up with some green scrubby, and then I went and did the same to all of the other wires. They were all pretty crusty. Probably should have did it before, but I didn't have to remove these. I just, you know, just a little bit of this, nice and carefully though, as to not wiggle the playfield and knock it onto the floor. And then there's another one here, and this guy, and a couple more over here, and then these guys. So these lane guides cleaned up nicely, and I'm glad that they're not broken, so I'm very happy and thankful for that. And I think you know, I might have to bend them into shape just a little bit. I'll have to address the ball hop. That's like 80 hours from now. But yeah, this kind of looks like it's bent backwards a bit. I'm gonna have to maybe force that forward. That's some fine tuning that'll happen way later. But yeah, I feel like this Playfield project is kind of officially underway now. Here's some old ass rubbers, some of which are slightly petrified, and we're just kind of snapping off. And yeah, I don't know, like I have to decide, do I want to go all yellow posts and yellow lane guides? Because on the HEP build, looked pretty damn good. I mean, it's going to cost me probably $100, maybe more. It's a lot of posts. They're about $1 each. Lane guides are a couple bucks each, plus shipping, tax, exchange. Oh, and the fact that Canada Post is on strike, that doesn't help. So I'm going to say $100 to $150 to do that. But since I'm saving money by not doing a Playfield swap, maybe I'll splurge on things like that. Alright, next I'm going to focus on this little area here. It's pretty crusty. And I'll just take it all apart, clean it, and put it back together again. Maybe even this guy here. And do this 16th of the Playfield. Alright, everything's removed. The area is definitely pretty nasty. And this coil, I was wondering why there was some duct tape on here, or whatever tape. And yeah, these lugs are on the sides of this coil. That's weird. JX26-1200. Oh, the JX I bet means lugs on the outside. That's weird. But what also is weird is that I pulled this out of there. A metal coil sleeve, and I had to fight with it. There's my needle nose plier marks. So I think that this coil is a little too toasty for my likings. I'm going to probably replace that. Except, why are the lugs on the outside? Is it like if they point up, is there a risk of it hitting the apron? Is that possible? Anyway, well, you know, maybe on my parts meteor playfield in storage, that's what I got to do. I got to bring that playfield over and have it on hand, because I'm sure it's going to come in handy for a lot of things. But I think this coil is going to need to be replaced, because it was super hard to get this out, and that is a sign that it's been overheated. So I got this piece cleaned up and starting to work on this guy. It's the coil stop, the other trough piece, and I'm getting pretty black in the process, but in short order this should all be looking pretty good. Okay, things are looking a little better. I measured the ohms on this coil and it's 11.2 ohms. So I checked my coil resistance chart online, and these J26 1200s are supposed to be around 10.8. So this is in spec. So then I thought I would just take a regular old coil sleeve, and look at that. It actually goes in just fine and dandy. So my coil is actually good. So that's good news. And these parts are cleaning up. I removed this shooter gauge, this old guy. I don't know why that's in there, if that's factory or not, but that is gone. Polished up this guy, and you know, the wood's a little bit stained, but before, after. Okay, how about that? I think I said 1/16th of the playfield. It's probably more like 1/64th of the playfield, top side alone. But that is done. This is all nice and snappy. Everything's all tight. Cleaned up this post, shooter gauge. I think I'll move over and just clean this side up now. Remove my clamp, put this one back on so we don't have any more oopsies. All right, that side is done. This is looking pretty good. Kevin has my other trough piece here, and that piece is broken off from it, so he's welding that for me. So I'll have to wait to install that, but yeah, there's a small dent. Okay, so next on the list, I used my Dremel brush and cleaned every single switch contact. Is there a chance I missed that one? Might actually have missed that. I'll do that to remind me. I did all the targets, and I actually cleaned the faces of all the yellow targets, which are all original and all in nice shape. So I cleaned all these contacts and switch faces. These guys over here. Turned out very nice. These switches, they're nice and shiny now. The slingshot switches, this guy here, I remember that guy. It's nice and shiny. But that's about all I'm gonna do on this episode. I'd say, you know, put in a little dent, so I feel like I'm actually making progress now. And yeah, by the time I remove, unclean, and reinstall everything, I'll probably be like, why didn't I just get a new playfield? But oh well, I'm lepping this one up, so thanks for watching. Alright, every once in a while the inspector shows up to make sure everything's in order. He's been investigating this row, moved on to this row over here. Let's see if we can check in with the inspector, and oh, it looks like he's made his way all the way down to the freshly set up Congo machine. What do you think there, dude? Everything check out? Hey? Does it meet your approval? No, you're more interested in whatever that little splotch is on the ground? Okay, well, thanks for pointing that out. I will clean that up. I appreciate that. Yeah, why would you lick that? We just offered you food and water, and now you're gonna just lick the dirty floor? You silly boy.